Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Witchy Business. Today's episode is a little bit different because I'm going to be interviewing Emily. I have this weird, very niche interest. I love knowing the behind the scenes of a project, of understanding how it came to be, why that person chose to bring that idea to life, what challenges they faced when they were creating it, and what was their creative process. I've always loved this behind the scenes kind of peak. As a teenager, I remember reading all these books from a specific author, and at the end of his books he would share the music that he listened to while writing the book. And I used to love just getting the new book, going to the end, finding out the music, downloading it, and listening to it while I was reading the book to really immerse myself to it and immerse myself in it. And with films as well, just love, when DVDs had these bonus episodes where you could get the behind the scenes, the making ofs and stuff. Yeah, I just love that. And in our work, it's not something that we share so much, but it's something that I still really love. So when coaches and people who create courses and programs or books, when they share that, I just love hearing about it. And I guess in my work, I get to hear clients share when they're creating projects as well. And yeah, it's something that I love doing, and I'm lucky to have a lot of very creative friends. And so I get to get that behind the scenes peek with them too. So all that to say that I thought it would be really fun to share that with you. And at the moment, Em's working on a really amazing offering, which is all about finding your purpose through self-discovery and creative expression. I mean, how cool does that sound, firstly? And yeah, I've had the honor and the pleasure to witness her as she was creating that. And I thought it would be really fun to share that with you. A little peek behind the scenes of Emily creating a course. So, hi, Em. Welcome to Witchy Business.
Hi. Oh, thank you so much for those beautiful words.
Yeah, of course. Yes, this is really funny.
This feels really strange.
Interviewing you on your own podcast. So let's start with a little energy check-in. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good today. Yeah, feeling very energetic. And yeah, I spent the morning working on this program. So I'm feeling really excited and clear. I think, when you spend time really kind of working on something, it really not only does it move you along in the creative process, but it just helps you get super, super clear. So yeah, feeling good, grounded, and energized.
Amazing. I love that. So good. All right, let's start. Can you please tell us a little bit more about this course?
Yeah, so it's called Slow, which stands for slowing down, listening to your intuition, opening your heart, and witnessing your power. And it's a group coaching program for busy professionals to find their life purpose so that they can create more meaning and fulfillment in their lives. It's really a journey of self-discovery and creative exploration, as you said earlier. And I believe that we are all creative beings and we need to feel empowered to create, whether that's creating art, creating events, experiences, community. A lack of creativity leads to a lack of fulfillment and purpose because you're not tapping into your full potential. So you're feeling like there's something missing, or you're feeling a bit stuck because you're not empowered to, really be your authentic self. And feeling unfulfilled looks like having no motivation, feeling exhausted all the time, drained, feeling stuck, feeling like you've lost your creative spark, or just spark in general. And sometimes it's even physical symptoms like digestive problems, headaches, which turns into a cycle. So, you're feeling unmotivated, you're feeling exhausted, so you don't take action, and then you feel stuck, and then you feel unmotivated, and it's like this big cycle.
Yeah.
And so what this program is this journey of exploration and self-discovery, and I like to break it down into 3 pillars. So those 3 pillars are self-awareness, self-trust, and self-confidence. And these are the 3 pillars of, or the way I use these 3 pillars are to find your purpose so that you can create a life of fulfillment. And through this program, we explore these 3 pillars through a mix of teachings, learnings, tools, practices, incorporating creativity, mindset, and embodiment. So that's really what it is. And we start on the 16th of May. It's for 12 weeks, and the format of it is 6 live group coaching calls every other week. And then there'll be weekly pre-recorded videos and workbooks, and then also a Telegram group for ongoing support. I love voice notes. As you know, we send each other long voice notes, but just so that you can get that continued support on this journey, because you never know what's going to come up. And so by having this support from myself and also of a group, it will be really safe and nurturing, and that's really my intention for it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm still stuck on like the whole, I love an acronym, and the fact that slow I think is really beautiful, and just hearing the word, I'm like, that feels really supportive. And yeah, I love it. What made you want to create this?
So just actually touching on the name, because I think slow, I mean, it's something that we talk about a lot on this podcast as well, slow living, anti-hustle. And where this program is for busy professionals, what I mean by that is people who are established in their career, they have a career, they're busy, they don't have time, or they think they don't have time for this self-discovery journey. And it is really through slowing down as well that you get to become aware of yourself, and then as a result create the life that you want to live. So what made me want to create this is I've been there. I've been that busy professional. I've felt so stuck in my career, not knowing what I wanted to do, that feeling of like helplessness and a lack of motivation. And I was really in this cycle for a long time. And through my own journey of self-discovery and creative exploration, my creative exploration looked like starting a business. But now through working with other clients on their journeys too, that creative exploration can look like so many different things. And so I wanted to create this because I strongly feel, and I so desperately want everyone to feel fulfilled and happy in their lives. And I've always kind of felt like life is, I've had experiences in my life that have formed this, I guess the way I live my life is that if I'm not happy, if I'm not feeling fulfilled, then I will do something about it. And that's not to be taken lightly, that is easier said than done. Lots of people feel that they want to make a change, but they don't, for many different reasons, self-doubt, external factors, lots of things. And now, through experiencing, my own journey and then also helping other clients, I know that there is a way to do it. And I just want to share all of my tools, all of my practices. And the reason for the group is there's so much power in community. And, I can carry on doing this work one-to-one, but I love community. I personally always feel so supported when I'm in a group coaching program or when I am in community. And I just know there's going to be so much power in it. So
yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for
yeah.
you get to do it. Yeah. I love this idea of like creating what you would have needed from having been there yourself. I feel like it just makes, the offering so much more potent because you've fully experienced it too.
Yeah. And I think, you can, as a coach, I've got my training, I've got my experience, but it is also really through that lived experience that you really get to understand, the journey on a different level. And yeah, it feels so much more closer to my heart as well, and it makes me feel even more excited and more passionate about this work, because I am now the other side, and I now know that there is a life where you're not wondering, what else is there, or like, I have direction, I know who I am, and that comes from doing this work.
Yeah, you can hear it in your voice, like how grounded you are in this. Yeah. And tell us, what was it like creating it?
Yeah, so I mean, it's probably no surprise that I love the creative process and I love that journey, from the idea to where I am now, which is kind of building out the modules. The modules are going to be the live calls, and then the videos in between are sort of going to be based on those modules. But in creating it, I mean, it's a journey. It's like, how can I put this in like a short way? It's like, okay, idea. Oh, this is going to be a great idea. And then there's the research, and I say research, I mean like market research, also kind of just reflecting on my own experiences, and then also research in the sense of like reading and, everything that kind of goes into creating a program. Then there's like the fear and the imposter syndrome, and then there's more excitement, and it's like this up and down this journey. And yeah, we talk about it all the time on here on this podcast, but the waves of, running your own business. And I just come back to practicing what I preach. This program is really all about addressing those fears and the blocks, and kind of becoming aware of those blocks and those beliefs that are holding you back, so that you can carry on moving forwards. And yeah, it's really been a process of like practicing what I preach, but then also getting support from my own coach to see where my blind spots are, so that I can work through them. And then also aligning with my why and my mission. And my why is bigger than any fear or any block that's coming up. And that
What is
really,
your why?
my why, my mission is to empower busy professionals people in general. I say busy professionals because, yeah, like I said, that's really where I was. And let's say people who have been following a kind of conventional career path, empowering those people to step outside of what they think they know their path to be, to create a life of fulfillment for themselves. And I do that through creative expression, embodiment practices, and mindset. And I know that why just carries me through, because any time that there's like oh, maybe I should step back, it's like, well, no, because then more people won't feel empowered to really, ultimately at its core, it's freedom from, like, freedom for yourself, freedom for your life. And if I don't carry on with this work, then more people won't know freedom and how to live authentically. I'm not sure if that answered your question. I think it did, but I can't remember the question now.
The question was, what is your why? And that really answers it. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the question before that was like all about what was it like creating it, and you've talked about like the ups and the downs, and the excitement, the fears, and were there any like key breakthroughs or key moments, where notable moments, up or down?
Good question. Yeah, it's as I was reflecting actually on everything that I've learned. I mean, my journey to get to where I am now, from where I was feeling stuck in a job, scared to leave, self-doubt, all of the things that come up with wanting to make a change and do something different to what you've always known to be true.
Sorry, I'm just going to cut you in here, because what's really interesting is that you felt really stuck and not creative when essentially your role was to be a creative.
Yeah.
Because you were in graphic, like you were in design or as a creative director. And that was like, it's just interesting to note that just because your actual like title and what you do is in a creative field doesn't mean that you come from a creative place.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
Then works the other way. Like you don't have to, your work doesn't need to be in something that is considered creative for you to benefit from coming from a creative place.
Yeah, because creativity is really everything we do. It's problem solving, it's communication, it's innovation, and those are the key things that drive, the world that we live in. So yeah, exactly that. You don't need to define yourself as a creative, even though I do believe that everyone is a creative. But actually, at the time, I'm thinking of a very particular time when I was feeling really stuck and really low, really exhausted. I was questioning, what am I doing and what's the meaning of life? All of these like bigger questions. Yeah, because you're like, where am I going? Like what, And actually at this time I was working in a creative field, but my role actually was a project manager. So I didn't have a creative role, but I was in a creative industry. So then I started a business on the side, and that did bring me so much joy and fulfillment. But to take that a step further, I then did get a new job. I had a career change and I turned into a graphic designer. So then I realized that this is still not making me feel fulfilled. So, yes, I thought what I need is to be more creative. I'm not tapping into my creative potential, so I'll have a career change. And so many people do this because they think, oh, this is the answer, it's going to solve all my problems. But if you don't have that journey of exploration and discovery beforehand, you're kind of just guessing at what is going to work for you. And so that's exactly what I did. I got a job as a graphic designer, and I still was asking the same questions, you know, after the like whole shiny new job thing had worn off. I was like, oh, here I am again. And yeah, I that's a really good point to make, because it's not just if you're living in a creative, if you have a creative role or you see yourself as a creative. It's just, I guess what I mean by being creative is just really tapping into your inner potential, inner creative being, which is all of the things that I just said. So yeah.
I find it super interesting to see like how much creativity was something that you were seeking and trying to cultivate more of in your life, and trying to find and have more of throughout your life. You know, like it feels like, it sounds like it's what fueled all the career change, all the different options and things that you were doing. And so yeah, this feels pretty full circle of coming back and realizing that it's not what you're doing, it's that place that you're coming from. And so yeah, teaching how to create that space of creativity within yourself, I think it shows like how applicable it is to so many different areas of our lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really interesting about it.
Yeah, I think actually, just going back to that question of like, what are the shifts? That actually was a really big shift for me. And I would say that really up until a few months ago, probably even now, I have only just kind of defined myself or labeled myself a creative. Before that, even being a graphic designer, even working in a creative industry, I never defined myself as a creative. And that was really interesting to just reflect on. And also hearing you say that as well now, it's funny. I think I have just redefined what the word or what that kind of term means to me. And so that's why when I say like we are all creative beings, I really mean that from like a soul level. We are here to create on earth. Like this is what our purpose, everyone's purpose is to create in some form. And that looks different to so many other people. And I now know that I am creating through programs like this, through holding space for my clients, through my practices, my tools. All of those things are a creation that I am birthing into the world, in the same way that everyone listening to this is birthing ideas and creations every day without even realizing it.
Yeah, love it. And I feel like you've kind of answered this question a little bit, but I had the question of like, what specifically do you feel like you learned about yourself in the creative process? Kind of like, what blind spots did this creative process allow you to see about yourself?
Yeah, I am creative.
Well, that is, I guess, like a big one. It's just realizing how creative you are.
And also that the way I see creativity and define creativity is split into, and I can't remember if we've talked about this on the podcast before, if I've just talking to you separately about this before, but it's like this idea of internal versus external creativity. And so external creativity is the problem solving, the decision making, the communication, the innovation. And those are extremely important in our world when we think of things like AI, for example. You know, we need to learn to adapt, we need to learn to move with it and get creative with it. And then internal creativity is about finding that inner peace and that fulfillment and that joy. And internal creativity can also be used as a tool. So using that creative expression as a tool to discover yourself and discover what lights you up, discover your path. And that really is what I'm so interested in, and something that I've learned through my journey is these tools of creativity that allow us to connect with our creativity. And by doing that, we can then show up confidently. We can have trust in ourselves, thinking back to those 3 pillars: self-awareness, self-trust, self-confidence. All of those things are going to get you to your purpose. Your purpose is something that lights the way for you to then have fulfillment in your life, whatever fulfillment looks like, you know, fulfillment, success, joy, happiness. Your purpose is going to guide that way for you. And it's by working within these 3 pillars and exploring yourself in this way that you will get there, and you will find that. So yeah, it's kind of like flipping creativity. It's like the external, but then it's also like, how can I use this for myself as well to find out who I am?
Yeah, I love that. And just digesting that for a second, letting that land with everyone. A little bit lighter on the questions, like, were there actually, before that, you talk about embodiment as part of like something that's offered in the course, and I'd really love for you to speak to that a little bit more, please.
Yeah, so where I guess at the start of my journey, I really explored mindset a lot. And mindset has been so extremely valuable and important in my journey, because mindset is really, it's your outlook on who you are and the world. It shapes your beliefs, your thoughts, your behaviors. And so when I realized that the way I was thinking was creating my reality, I couldn't believe it. Like, because, you know, I'd never known this, like, you know, working full time, I'd never had the time to even like explore that. So that was mindset. And then when I then discovered embodiment practices, so things like breath work, things that allow you to get into your body and connect the mind and the body. So expanding on all of the mindset stuff, all of the mindset learnings, and then bringing that into the body and connecting the two. This work is extremely powerful. And it's not only because when you don't embody things, when you just kind of, when it's all in the head, in your mind, your mindset. For example, let's take an example. I feel like this is easier to speak to. Affirmations, positive affirmations. I love positive affirmations, but there is a process in using them. And you can say things like, I am confident. Let's just take that as an example. You can say that every day, but sometimes there's so much more under the surface that is not going to, you're not going to get to by just saying that over and over again. So by practicing getting into your body, becoming aware, it's that going back to the awareness again, things like awareness meditation allows you to really be present and connect with how you are feeling. So then when you say, I am confident, you actually can feel it as well.
Yeah.
So by connecting those embodiment, mindset, and creativity being those, being tools, being that self-discovery tool, and then continuing on that journey with your mindset, reframing any beliefs that you have that are holding you back, getting to know your patterns, and then fully embodying it. It's just powerful, just together.
I love it. Yeah, thank you for speaking about that. And so, yeah, you offer breath work, don't you, in the course?
Yeah, breathwork is one of the tools that
Yeah.
we use. Breathwork and meditation, dancing.
Yeah, I love it. So my next questions, which were a little bit lighter, were there things in particular that you did during your creative, like this creative time of creating this course, that helped you feel more creative? Just side note, like if anybody wants a game, just drink something every time we say creative.
Yeah, that's a good question. And also I just want to say it's if anyone wants to tap into your creativity, but also that applies to, like we have been saying, so many things. So for example, you're at work or you're trying to think of something within your business, and it needs to, one of the biggest blockers of creativity is hustle culture, because you are not allowing yourself time for the creativity to flow. And slow living is something that we talk about in this program as well, but hustle culture is blocking creativity. And so what that looks like is you've got to put a presentation together to send over to the client, and you don't know what to say, you feel blocked, you feel stuck. It's the same thing. Like, maybe you don't think that that's creativity if you're talking about, I don't know, finance, but it's creativity. So yes, there were things that I did and still do, and to practice being creative, tapping into my creativity, and things like, first of all, breath work, getting into my body, getting out of my head, because also, another big blocker of creativity is self-doubt. And when you feel stuck and you're trying to I'm going to use the word force, because that's what happens when the creativity isn't flowing and you're getting frustrated and you're trying to force out the words or the ideas, and then that leads to self-doubt, and then you end up in that spiral. So breathwork allows you to get out of your mind and into your body, so that you can be present, so that you can allow those ideas to flow. And another one is just, and this sounds so counterintuitive whenever I say this, but just stop what you're doing and just go out for a walk. Just get your body moving and switch off, whether that's listening to music, whether it's not having any technology around you, and you will be so amazed at how quickly whatever you need to come to you is going to come to you. It's like, when you're in the shower and you just like have all your best ideas, that's because you're just allowing yourself to be in that flow. And so whenever I'm feeling blocked or stuck, take myself out for a walk, and I incorporate breath work into my day every day. And then just, I love reading and listening to podcasts and all of those things, even if they're not about a subject that you're, speaking to. For example, in my case, even if they're not about self-discovery, creativity, then it's still it's still contributing. You're allowing yourself, you know, this is all part of slow living. You're allowing yourself to switch off, to rest, so that you can, you know, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And were there like any specific books that you read, podcasts that you listened to, or music that you listened or moved to that you want to share?
I am gonna say, first of all, if you've not listened to our book club episode, you should go and listen to that. Big Magic is just the most incredible book, all about ideas and allowing things to flow. And I really feel like this whole program is this idea that, you know, there's a part, I think we actually talked about this in the other episode, but there's a part where she talks about ideas just flowing to you, and this poet who's at the top of this hill, and there's this idea that catches her, and she has to run down the hill and write it all down before she loses the idea. And I actually feel like that's what happened to me. I was out on a walk and this idea just came to me, and I just stood there, I just wrote it all down. And that's how I know that this idea, this program, is meant for me, and I'm meant to be delivering this. And that feels really powerful. So Big Magic definitely is the one. And also thinking about creativity, The Artist's Way is also an incredible book for creativity. And so many podcasts, so many books. I'm just gonna leave it with those two for now.
Amazing. Is there anything else that you would like to share that we haven't touched on before we conclude?
I think one of the biggest realizations or shifts, and I guess this is a kind of mindset question, one of the things that put me on this journey of self-discovery was, I think it was a podcast or a video, I don't exactly know, maybe it was a meditation, I can't remember what format it was in, but I just remember there was a question, and it was, think about you in 10 years time. What if you were exactly where you are now in 10 years time? How would you feel?
Ooh.
Yeah. And that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if the answer to that is your reaction is, you know, if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling exhausted and you're feeling unmotivated and unfulfilled, then just take action and just take small steps. It doesn't need to be huge. You just need to know that you're taking steps towards your future that you're going to benefit from. And whether that is, you know, saying yes to this program, or whether it is literally just setting an intention or new habit that it will change your current reality, then you know, I really invite you to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good question to put someone into action, because I wouldn't say that I feel currently unfulfilled or stuck.
Yeah.
But the fear of being where I am right now in 10 years is a million times bigger than the fear of creating anything and putting something out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just it. It's, you know, you might know that you are feeling stuck, or you might not. And it's really just, it does kickstart you into action.
Yeah.
But it also makes you realize that what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Well, the worst that can happen is being where I am right now in 10 years.
Yeah, but if you were to, you know, and the thing is though, you are taking action, but it's
Yeah.
like maybe that has made you think like, oh, I want to do more. Like it just helps you like envision what your life,
Yeah.
where you want to be in 10 years. And it's not meant to like scaremonger you into like taking huge great leaps into like, but it is just meant to like
Yeah.
make you think, bring awareness to actually what you're choosing to put your energy into and what you're choosing to focus on. And yeah.
Great. So where can people find out more about this course and all of that?
Yeah, so Instagram is probably one of the best ways, and then also my website, and we can put all of the links in the show notes. And I also recently did a free masterclass on creative expression, self-discovery through creative expression. And so if you do want to know more about what that process looks like and those tools, then you can sign up to that through my website as well. So I'll pop that link there. And yeah, I'm also offering 15-minute calls if you want to chat through this program a bit more, chat about, whether it's right for you. If you have any questions, then yeah, send me a message on Instagram or an email.
We'll put all of the links in the show notes. How do you feel now that the interview is over?
It's definitely strange being on the other side of the interview process, but yeah, I could talk about this stuff all day, so it feels really good to share and talk about the process, because yeah, I don't think it's niche that you enjoy that. I really enjoy the creative process. And I also used to watch all of the behind the scenes on the DVDs that you'd get from Blockbusters. So yeah, I really have loved sharing my process and more about this. So thank you for asking really incredible questions.
Thank you so much.